Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Season 1, Episode 10 of Quantum Leap. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. I don't know if I brought this up before, maybe I haven't, I just don't remember, but it's so fascinating how this show can kind of be everything, everywhere, all at once. And it obviously doesn't mean just joking a little bit, but just like the fact that this show can kind of be anything, especially like for every episode is kind of a different genre. Like for example, this episode in particular being a medical drama, which was very interesting. Also, like when the episode began and Ben ended up running into Sandra, I was like, is that Tiffany Smith? I was like, that looks like that's Tiffany Smith, but is it? And it super was. I was like, dude, that's super dope. That's awesome. I don't know why, because sometimes it's like, because when someone's part of like that nerdy space, why I know you for like hosting and being part of like the nerd, like I do forget, like it's like, right, she's also an actress too, so like I do kind of forget that sometimes. So I was like, that's super dope that she's in this. Also, Eugene Birdwatcher, I was like, hey, which is also interesting because like I don't know if there's any other medical related thing I know him from. I know like the first thing that comes to my mind is Bones. I mean, obviously that's a crime drama, but it's kind of like a medical crime drama. But like, yeah, like he was one of the interns and eventual people that stuck around in he had a long standing recurring role in that show. But either way, Ben is in this Dr. Alex's body trying to save three particular patients. It is interesting that he ended up labeling these three particular patients before they even arrived at the hospital, but sadly it's on the day like a train like derailed or something like that, and a whole bunch of people got brought in, and it's like, right, gotta save these different people's lives. And these three cases all end up being heavily connected in so many different regards, because one of the patients turns out to be Sandra's dad, and it turns out he's sick and he's got something that I'm not even going to like attempt the medical pronunciation of it, but basically it's like he could have anywhere between like 14 months to live or maybe even 10 years, but he doesn't want Sandra to know, because it's like, right, she's got enough on her plate because she's already dealing with a nasty divorce, and on top of that, like her and her dad don't have a great relationship. What's also interesting too, the actor who plays her dad, which seen that actor in multiple, you think I know, he's one of those actors where like you've seen him in so many things, I just don't know I should have paid attention like as much as possible to the opening credits. But what's interesting though is he's in a show called Family Business. It's a BET show. I've never seen it, but I've caught bits and pieces of it because my mom like loves the show. Funny enough, Ernie Hudson's in that show, and him and the actor who plays Sandra's dad are brothers in that show. I was like, that's interesting. I was like, that's so fascinating. Interesting things I wouldn't even know. Once again, interesting knowledge I wouldn't have if I didn't just happen to be around my mom when she was watching that show, because she watches it a lot, because she really, really, really likes it. Either way, so there's that. There's a husband who's got a metal shard in his head, and Sandra has to remove it, and Ben's able to kind of talk to him about his wife who's missing, who he's looking for, but then heartbreakingly later on it turns out, hey, yeah, she died, and she's like brain dead. You're like, jeez, man, it's just like, that sucks. That really sucked, especially because he was talking about how long him and his wife have been together. Well, like they were like married for 25 years. They met each other in college, which obviously for Ben, it's like, oh yeah, me and my fiance met at work, and Sandra's looking like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, let's kind of move past that. And that just is gut-wrenching, especially because Addison, she has the perspective of she had to tell a mother about her son not coming home during an operation that she ran. So there's like double guilt, like not guilt, but like there's a lot heaviness on that for Alex. For Addison. It's like, not only do I have to tell its mom, like, hey, your son's going, but also, like, it was an operation I ran, so she feels, like, I think doubly guilty for it. And so it's like, right, I had all this speech, like, prepared about, like, okay, what I'm going to say, but it's like, that all kind of got thrown out the window the moment she actually got talking to the mom and just let her know, like, your son is a hero, and that me and the team will never forget him, and the fact is, he died making this world a better place. So it's like, when the time comes, you will know the right thing to say. And ultimately, there's the third patient is a a young woman who Eugene Bird's character is trying to prescribe a very certain anesthetic. But the problem is that it's being tested, but it comes in conflict with people's underlying issues. And this drug will end up eventually causing the deaths of so many people later on down the road because they didn't know the side effects of it. And it is that thing of, a pharmaceutical company's pushing these particular hospitals to start using this drug before it's fully FDA approved. I mean, it's already going to get FDA approved, but it's still so it's kind of like the medical, politics at a hospital type of situation of right, it's because of stuff like this. It's what keeps a hospital going. It gives them the funding that they need to keep going. So it is a thing of Eugene Bird's character is coming from a good place of, yes, the money were obviously this drug, if it was bad, it wouldn't be FDA approved on a way to be FDA approved. The fact of the matter is with the money we're also getting from this, we could help save so many other people's lives. His character can come off like a dick, but it's the situation of I am coming at it from a good place. But obviously his character can also come off as a misogynistic douchebag. And the problem that Ben's coming across is, later on, the patient, her name is Kimberly, her getting this drug ended up causing massive issues. She's almost died, and another shot from it, because later on we're going to put her in surgery so she could get a heart transplant. Another shot of this could end up killing her. And so, because basically she had an underlying condition that no one knew yet. I mean, obviously Ben had Addison and Ziggy to back him up to be but just how do you tell people, you knew these patients were going to be here because intuition, and the fact is you just going on by a hunch that you have this person has this medical condition. So I even love that one point in time. It's doctor, you misogynistic piece of Alex. Focus. Right. And also the heartbreaking thing too of the husband, his wife's everything happens for a reason. Because even, Ben he talks to the husband saying right, what happened to your wife, everyone on that train, it is not fair. You were just that this would happen and turn everyone's lives upside down. It's not fair. But your wife's heart's so big that I think she would want you to do what you could to help, save someone else's life. So someone else's life isn't cut short. And he looks out at Kimberly and the husband's yeah, she would. And is happy to see later on that the surgery did work out, and luckily, she is okay in the end. And that his wife was, and just there's some silver lining to it, but it's still heart wrenching. And obviously for Ben, it's still kind of a reminder for him of Addison's going to be in trouble in the future, and what if the time comes I'm not able to do anything for you? Which for her is first and foremost, whatever's coming, I can protect myself and save myself. But also, you've been there for so many countless other people. The fact is, when the time comes, I know I'm not going to have to go through it alone because I know you're going to be there for me like you have all these other people. I mean, you've saved so many lives. Because it's look at, I mean, this and plenty of medical dramas will showcase man, I do not envy doctors and nurses. It's just that is a medical, I was about to say medical field. That's a field I can never imagine being in because I have it day in and day out. So many people's lives are in your hands, and the fact of the matter is, one mistake that you're not even obviously intending, but it could have massive consequences. Once again, that drug, that anesthetic, could have had massive repercussions, and luckily later on they were able to kind of. They were able to eventually get that recalled, so it's no longer going to go to market, so many future people's lives would be saved. But there's also the situation of Sandra and her father, because Sandra she doesn't want to jeopardize her career. That's why she didn't want to stand up to Eugene Bird's character. It's just because it's no, I need this job because my son's my only focus right now. He's my world. Outside of him, I have nothing else. And so Ben has to tell her about her dad, especially because her dad's trying to leave, and Ben's trying, because he was a lawyer, and he's one of those lawyers that represented some very, very evil people, and so he did a lot, he kind of ended up destroying a lot of lives. He also wasn't there for his wife and his daughter So Sandra grew up being like, right, I'm gonna do a job that makes it so that I'm there for people. Unlike my dad, who did so much to hurt people, I'm gonna be in a situation where I can help as many people as possible. And Ben seeing this as an opportunity, it's like you as a lawyer, you could help, kind of get this drug situation shut down, because it could be your way to kind of reach out to your daughter, even though your daughter doesn't want your help. But also it's like, because he's talking about him being sick right now, it's karma. It's karma for him not being a good person or a good father, and but it's like, right, you want to, there's no like evening the scales or whatever, but you can at least start by doing some good in this situation and save so many lives. And it gives you an opportunity to mend fences with your daughter, especially because you never know how much time they actually have. So, but obviously it seems like in the end, they are in a better place. They have an opportunity. So he's probably, who knows, like, how much experience he has with his grandson either. So, but like, despite everything, it seems like they were able to kind of mend fences at the end of the episode. So that's pretty dope. So it's kind of like a stressful situation to be in. Once again, it's just the fun of the show, being able to kind of shift genres whenever you want to into what, whether it's a Western, whether it's a medical drama, whether it's an espionage thing, whether it's just kind of like a crime drama, thrillery, comedy crime drama, thrillery, bounty hunter thing, So that's fascinating. But at the same time, this is all happening, Janice is being questioned by Magic and Jen, and they're trying to get some information out of her, but the only person she'll talk to is Ben. But during a conversation with Jen, she kind of lets it slip. She's like, right, there's an order to things. And it's like, wait, what? And then she immediately shuts down. It's like, there's only two people she's going to talk to, either Ben, and we find out later on the other person she's willing to talk to is Addison. I'm assuming they know that there is some grand mapping to this whole situation. Like, obviously, they were able to calculate exactly maybe where Ben would end up time frame wise. Because once again, the whole point is he has to hit like a certain like order just so he can build up enough slingshotting momentum to slingshot himself to a very specific point in time. Once again, what that point in time is exactly and when, we don't know. But obviously, there's a conversation about Leaper X. Obviously, he recognized Ben, and Janice wasn't too shocked by that. So it's like, right, Ben might not have remembered about that, but you did. So I wonder, is it something that Ben did know about, he just doesn't remember? So when she does finally get a chance to talk to Addison, because it's like, right, Magic's like, we've been playing keep up for so long, and maybe Janice should have been a part of this project from the beginning. Maybe that could have avoided all this. Who knows? We're living in a whole bunch of what ifs, which is interesting to have that what if have that be the case, considering like, well, you literally have a quantum machine. So it is kind of interesting, but it's like, right, like we'll kind of give into what Janice wants because we're just in the dark. We need to stop playing catch up and just know what's what. So, and Janice is not too happy about the fact is, she's like, honestly, if I had my way, Ben should have come to you. Like, instead of like, yes, I had my life. My life was my life, and he uprooted everything. So it's also showcasing like Janice isn't some evil manipulative person. It's like, no, he told me something I didn't want to know, and now I got dragged into this. That knowledge is actually a burden, and ignorance is actually bliss. So I need you to tell Ben to shut his trap. The more he remembers, the less he should be talking to you guys about it. And especially you. It's like, you guys need to stop doubting Ben. That's why you're wanting to know so much. It's like, stop doubting him, trust him, and tell him not to trust anybody, not even you. So this kind of goes back to my point of why Ben didn't tell Addison about whatever it is that he's leaping for to stop her and stop whatever's happening and save her. Because whatever it is, the more people know about it, the more it changes time. That continues to be my running theory, because the moment people know like, okay, this is going to happen, you're going to adjust things, and that means the future changes. So they need to keep the time frame as close to what it is as possible, so that when the time comes, Ben can change what he needs. But if they change time beforehand because they know like, okay, this is going to happen, we're going to be prepared, it changes everything. So it still could happen, it just might come about a different way. They might know the exact way something's going to go down. Once again, how does Ben have the knowledge he has? who knows? Like, what is it that he knows that's coming in the future? Like, how do you know? That's the big question of it all. Because 100%, we've known for a while that Ben's the one that went to Janice. Janice didn't go to him, so that's my only explanation of, at least that's to me like I said, my biggest running theory on why it kind of benefits Ben that he doesn't remember anything, and it's like, right, you need to keep your mouth shut because you could end up changing time. And it also, like, the conversation about, like, the order of things. I brought up, like, the fact is Ben ends up in the places he does, ends up going through the experiences he does, because it's all for building his character, building him and making him stronger and more prepared. I think these are all stops. They're all things that are meant to happen in a very specific order because it's meant to prepare him for whatever's coming in the future, giving him all the tools and know-how necessary to make a difference when the time comes. Because all of these experiences will probably come in handy and when the time comes, whatever that might necessarily look like. So I wonder, now that Janice has passed that on to Addison, it's like, right, you got to tell Ben to stop talking about what he remembers. I wonder, will he slip up and still do that, and that's going to be an issue, or is Addison not going to tell Ben that? I don't know. But will Janice actually get the opportunity to talk to Ben like she wanted to, or now that she said that, she doesn't need to? I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting to see ultimately where all of this ends up taking us going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.